Shout out to all Asian dilemmas. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Kai Veil channel. Thanks for tuning in. You all know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, if you will. And this video is more based on more youth being homeless in China. As we all know, China is a large developed country. We still have the rural areas too. Just like here in America, there's a lot of people forget about the rural parts because everybody assumes that America has all this money, everybody's rich, everybody's happy, but no. Because most people in America are average and struggling. It's just that Big Daddy government is keeping most people afloat, even though they're struggling too. I mean, look at that big ass hurricane that just happened on the East Coast, or should I say the South/Mid East Coast, the Carolina areas. FEMA ran out of money. That was government money, taxpayers' money. What the hell happened? Anyway, that's a different subject. Let's talk about the elderly and the sleeping youth on these Chinese streets. Let's go.
It's no longer worth fighting for an uncertain future. Just let life take its course.
Looks like Oakland. San Francisco too. So sad.
I have seen a group of middle-aged people sleeping in bridge tunnels, living off daily gigs, with a meal for lunch and another meal uncertain for dinner. There are no turnarounds, no miracles, just living aimlessly, without any prospects, working one day and resting for 3, holding a pack of 50-cent cigarettes, carrying a 1 yuan bottle of water, eating 5 yuan instant noodles, staying in a 15 yuan poor night bed, or spending the night in a 10 yuan cyber cafe. No dreams, and even less of a future. Shanghai comes from the Shanghai talent market, which is the center of activities for Shanghai youth. They come here to look for daily jobs and settle payments daily to get a source of income. The term Big God is a sarcastic reference to these workers who challenge the limits of human survival, living on an extremely low income. In Shenzhen, the Shanghai labor market in the Longhua New District and the northern part of Jingle has become a haven for cheap labor, attracting migrant workers from various regions.
And when they say that cheap labor, this involves sweatshops and everything else. Because as we all know, a lot of our goods in the United States come from China. And we have Shein and Temu, which are pretty much under fire right now. But that's for another subject.
Many of the big gods of Shanghai have become popular on the internet. Many of them have no identity cards, are in debt, and have no contact with their families.
What?
In the Shanghai talent market, some job seekers look for suitable factory jobs inside the building. Once successfully hired, they are immediately transported to their workplaces. However, outside the building, there are young people who do not go inside to look for jobs, but wait outside for employers who need temporary workers. They don't want long-term jobs. Temporary work allows them to get paid daily, and after receiving payment, they can enjoy 2 or 3 days off. Their mindset has deviated from conventional views, so they are called big gods of Shanghai. But these people see this condition as the purest way of living in the present, eating both expensive seafood and simple noodles. His name is Tan Guo, comes from the countryside, is in debt, divorced, cannot stay at home, and came to Shenzhen with the dream of making money and turning his life around. Reality, however, cruelly shattered him. Initially, Tan Guo and most people wanted a stable job, like a waiter, delivery person, or work at Foxconn, but soon became tired of the repetitive factory work and constant overtime. He worked hard, faced black intermediaries, exorbitant fees, and fraudulent factories, and eventually ended up with no money. As a desperate choice, he opted for temporary work, no longer wanting to be deceived, preferring more flexible hours. It felt like living in the present, free to work or have fun as he wished. His routine involves getting up in the morning to look for snacks at the market, mostly doing manual labor. The average daily income is around 100 yuan, with some making up to 150 yuan for longer, more strenuous work. After a day's work, he doesn't immediately seek another job but starts a godlike life, playing games in a cyber cafe for 10 yuan a night, eating a bowl of noodles for 5 yuan, and drinking water for 2 yuan.
You know, at least they able to eat cheaply out there. It's not really cheap for nobody, but versus being out here, it sounds like a messed up American dream. It's like you think you're gonna move to this place and just press reset and just start a new life when really it doesn't work out the way you dreamed it'll work out. But you know, it's for better or for worse. But at least he's trying to move on, and there you go.
When tired, he stays in a dirty, cheap hotel for 15 yuan a night, which also offers free Wi-Fi. If he feels lonely, he can enjoy a massage with essential oils for about 50 yuan. When the money runs out and there is no new income, he might sell his identity card for cash, regardless of what it will be used for. One big god even jokes that he has several companies registered under his name and is worth millions. But when he runs out of money, he ends up hungry, sleeping in parks, and waiting for the next temporary job. Thus, the cycle continues, with more people arriving, forming a unique lifestyle and attitude at the bottom of society.
Hey, brother, how did you end up sleeping here? Now that you're doing deliveries, you can't even afford to rent a place and can only sleep in the park. How many days have you been staying here? It's been five or 6 days. I stay here every night. So you sleep here at night. Isn't it cold here? It's cold, but there's nothing I can do. Where is your hometown? Huna, how old are you this year? I'm 26 years old, born in 1999.
That's a hard 26. I thought he was going to say like 35 or 40 or something. But if he was only born in 1999, man, young brother.
How do you solve your daily meals? I eat at places that offer free food, just 1 meal a day. And with 1 meal a day, can you sustain yourself? There's no other way. How much do you earn per day now? I earn a few dozen yuan per day, just enough to fill my stomach. It's tough coming to Shanghai. I came here to work in logistics. I heard from my friends that delivering food is better, more free. After I left logistics, I started doing deliveries. Who knew the more I did deliveries, the more I fell into hardship.
Wow.
How can I say it? Delivering food is not easy. The most I worked was 24 hours straight, earning around 100 yuan, 24 hours to earn 100 yuan.
A whole day's worth of work, and that's all he got. And mind you, this is very little money compared to USD.
Yes, the number of orders is low, there are few orders. Most orders are for special deliveries, so there are fewer orders. Do you regret it? Of course, I regret not studying properly. But it's no use regretting. Have you thought about going back and learning a trade? I learned car repair before, but then I stopped. I was also married before, but the marriage ended because I couldn't earn money, so we had to separate.
Sound like he was in an American marriage. No money, no honey, no love. Oh man, that's terrible. And see, this is pretty much what everybody's complaining about back here in the States. Lose a job, get sick, you can't provide for the family like that no more. So instead of your other half helping you until you get back on your feet, their solution is just to leave you all together and find somebody that has their stuff together and more money and a more richer family. But that's vague.
Being able to earn money, people didn't accept me, so we got divorced. How would you define the delivery industry? It's a relatively free job, but besides the freedom, there isn't much else. I feel like I like the freedom. A lot of people say you can earn more than 10,000 yuan a month delivering food. Do you believe that? No, I don't believe it. It's all lies. It's all lies. Would you consider it? Sometimes thinking about work, yes, I would consider it. Working in deliveries doesn't work. I can't keep up anymore.
Of course not. It's not a lot of money.
I feel like the generation from the 80s and 90s is basically lost. The year is over and February has also ended. Currently, it seems like we're in a very advantageous position, but most people from the 80s and 90s aren't really happy. Either they're slaves to their houses or cars, or they're slaves to relationships. The most common cases are divorces and single people, all from this generation.
Well, that ain't the case here in America because most people aren't getting married like that no more. But they probably have a few kids or two. They're a slave to child support. That's what they are. That's more of an American problem. We have no marriages, but we have all these fatherless kids or motherless kids too as well, because a lot of aunties and uncles and even grandmothers and grandfathers are taking care of these children. The parents is doing God knows what, right? But somebody's paying that child support.
Multiple marriages, second, third, fourth marriages are all part of this wave. People from the 80s and 90s, even without negative assets, are always dealing with various debts like loans, credit cards, online loans, car loans, mortgages, renovation loans, rent, and car rentals. Who can understand the oppression, anxiety, and confusion in this state? When this generation was young, they never could have dreamed of such a situation. Back in the rural areas, food could be exchanged for other needs, workers received salaries, and after expenses, there was always something left in the bank account.
And see, you got to understand, in the rural areas, not just America and China, but in most developing countries where there's rural areas, in just about every country, think about that. They might not have much, but they're more humble at the same time. The Philippines is a good example. They don't have much. A lot are struggling there. But for some reason, they still have this smile on their face almost every day. You got to question that. Meanwhile, here in America, and even places like China, we have all these resources, but it's not really doing justice for a lot of people. And we're heavily taxed even if we do have a good job. So a lot of people are just walking around fiddling their thumbs like, well, what's the point? All this college and education just to get in debt and just to work a shitty job that doesn't pay that much to begin with. I still need a second or third job and a side hustle and maybe a business too. So that's why a lot of people are like, you know,
Although life was monotonous, it was lived without much pressure. Suddenly, it's unclear when exactly it started, but the generation from the 80s and 90s began to have to use credit cards. Some are deeply in debt, and many are already overdue with payments. Many times, seeing the clarity of people born in the 2000s, I feel envious. More and more people from that generation choose not to get married, not to have children, and not to maintain family relationships. They might seem lonely, but they don't have financial burdens and are self-sufficient. Meanwhile, we, brothers and sisters from the 80s and 90s, are struggling on the last train, with elderly parents and children to care for. In our 30s, we can't see the direction of our lives. Sometimes we have to make do with very little. The older generation always says that having a car and a house is essential, but we really can't afford to get sick.
We really can't. He's right. Everything he's saying is on point, as I'm from that generation as well. Late 80s, which means I'm in my upper 30s, right? But yeah, a lot of us feel like this. A lot of us, it's hard not to stay away from the credit cards, because when you see all these millennials traveling, they throw all that onto credit cards and everything. But credit cards are good for large purchases, but you just got to pay it back before that next closing transaction date. Or you're going to be paying the bank 25% plus the borrowing fee, which is how everybody gets in debt. It's the percentage of that money borrowed. That's how you get screwed on the credit cards. They're evil.
If we fall ill, we might not even be able to pay the loan for the month. So, the generation from the 80s and 90s is holding on with difficulty. Who knows how long we can last? I really don't know what pressures you or the people around you are facing. We live day by day, year after year. Without realizing it, there are only 10 months left in 2024, and 2025 is approaching. In these last 10 months of the year, I have many things I want to say to myself, but it seems like I can't express anything. Anyway, I hope all the people from the 80s...
Oh, let's throw this in. By him dropping all these gems and spitting all this game, I'm waiting for all the people to say, well, he needs to step up and be a man and do this and do that. Motherfucker, really? That's your only solution. Step up and be a man. By doing what? Yeah, it's just, the world is just ridiculous. It's an old saying. If it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. But the thing is, everybody can't do it. So shut the hell up.
80s and 90s in front of the screen can pull themselves together. Let's keep going and...
The generation from the 80s and 90s is facing a challenging scenario where economic and personal pressures seem overwhelming. Many are struggling to balance debts and responsibilities while observing, with a touch of envy, the freedom of choices enjoyed by those who came after them. Despite all these difficulties, the resilience and determination of this generation are remarkable. Perhaps the answer lies in learning from the younger generation, who choose a simpler, less burdened life. It's important to remember that each of us carries a unique story and faces invisible battles. The feeling of oppression and constant struggle can be disheartening, but it's crucial to keep seeking support and strategies to overcome obstacles. Every step forward, even if small, is a victory. Together, we can turn challenges into opportunities and find new ways to achieve personal fulfillment. We want to hear from you. How are you dealing with the current challenges? What are your strategies for facing difficulties?
Just trying harder so then I can have a nice luxury office in one of these beautiful skyscrapers. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build my own business, work on myself, so then I don't have to work in somebody's building. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to build this channel. I'm trying to do this X, Y, and Z and all that. I'm trying to be CEO of where I work at. Nah, I'm playing. But you get the idea. It's like we have our side hustles. I can't say everything. I mean, this is the internet. I'm all about results, so I don't need to sit here and tell the whole world what I'm doing besides my healthcare job, etc., etc. So when I feel like exploiting that, I will. This is Cali Laveo. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.
Thank you.